Hey everybody, Cindy J. Chuck here. We are going to be doing a very traditional Easter craft, but we are going to put our own spin on it. We're going to make it a little maybe easier. As let's say it's going to be a beginner. It's like for us beginners doing this. And what it is that we're going to be doing the process of Ukrainian Easter egg decorating, which is called Pysanky. So Pysenk. And these are some of my eggs. Now, this one, as you can see on the very tip, is blown out. See the hole? So it's hollow. The real traditional ones aren't hollow. They're taking a whole egg and they're decorating it, and then over time it actually dries so that you can shake them and you can hear. This one's hollow. Do you hear the yolk in there? That's it dried out. So you don't have to blow them. So if you're thinking, oh, okay, I have to be able to blow these, but look how intricate. I mean, look at this teeny tiny one. Look at the patterning on this. So the wheat sheaves, very traditional for the Ukraine. Wheat belt, right? Look at the details. We are not doing that. That's crazy how detailed some of these are, right? It can be more simplistic, but again, see the typical wheat pattern on there. This one's in very soft colors. This one, if you notice, has very little white on it. That becomes important as we start looking at these. Oops, let me go this way. So some of these were my babas, some were my mother-in-law's. Okay, the cross, very traditional. Look at the detail of these. I mean, they're amazingly stunning. Now, I will say this. When I was a kid, as a gift to my grandma, I did some. Here, the yolk. So I did this one. Keeping it simple. And then I tried to be, okay, it's not blown out, but the yolk is attached in there. I did this guy, which again, not nearly as detailed. If you notice, not perfectly straight lines. It's really hard to get straight lines. I don't know how they managed to do this. I mean, this is complete skill and talent. But we are going to do kind of a rough version of this. Now, here's the thing. Typically, if you want to do this, let me put you in first. If you want to do this with any degree of precision, draw out your pattern and determine what colors go where, because we are going to be using a little stylus. So it's got a hole that we're going to put beeswax in. We're going to heat this in a candle, which then causes that beeswax to run out. And this is what we're creating our lines with. Hence the not straight lines on mine. Take some talent, take some practice. I don't have it. But because we're going to be doing that, and I'm starting off with a farm fresh white egg, my first lines, all of the beeswax actually masks the color. So to start with, anything that I'm putting the beeswax on is going to stay white. And then we're going to start dyeing it in color layers. And we start with the lightest color first. So once we do the white, we're going to dye yellow. Let it dry. Once it's dry, we'll add patterning, and anything that we add the beeswax to is going to stay yellow. Then we dye it again. So we build each layer, which means the very last thing will be black. So anything that we haven't covered in beeswax will be that color. You following? So you have to kind of think a little backward. I'm going to pull you in overhead. I am not going to be doing perfect. I have decided that I am just going to, my egg is a little rough. These are farm chickens. I'm sure that's going to influence it. But we're just playing. We're just practicing. Don't start for intricate. So I am just going to be trying to do some lines and maybe some scallops, and I'm going to make it up as I go and do my colors as I go. And I think for a first egg, and I'm assuming y'all are doing a first one, I just got these off the internet, so I will drop in a link for you. But don't agonize over a detailed pattern. Don't agonize over a lot of dots and dashes and details and things. Just go for the process first, okay? You can use special Easter egg dyes. I'm going to do some food color eggs. Obviously, you're never going to eat this egg. We're not doing, you could do it on a hard-boiled, I guess. I've never seen it done. I'm doing it on a whole egg. I'm not blowing it out. You just treat it really carefully. Once it's at the really dry stage, you know, where the yolk is rattling, if it breaks, it's no harm, no foul. Once it's been sitting for a couple of months, you don't want to break it. It's really stinky, bad eggs. But traditionally, they're done with the whole egg. And we're going to go that route, just because blowing it out is really, I lose a lot of eggs. Okay, I'm pulling you in. I got my candle. I'm going to light and get that going. And we're going to play with this together. And I think you could draw on it and light pencil a really easy, my thing doesn't want to light. You could draw on it a really easy pattern. You could just say, you know what, for my first one, I am just drawing lines. I am just drawing shapes. I am just going with whatever because I just want to see how it works. And that's okay too. Okay, so first step is getting some wax in here. Now, ultimately, once this is hot, you can kind of scrape it along and you'll get some wax happening. This is beeswax, so I'm just going to kind of use my X-Acto knife and get some hunks off it so I get this block started. Traditionally, it's done with beeswax. I happen to have some in the shop because I sell it for distressing furniture and that sort of thing. I'm not sure if you can use paraffin. I don't see why not, but I decided there's so many other aspects of this that I'm not going to be good at. Then since I have the real stuff, why not go for it? And again, I don't know if it's because of, you know, the melting point viscosity of this flows better out of the stylus. That was one possibility. I'm going to go with that. So I'm just going to kind of heat this. Now see, this is what's going to happen to me. See my little glitch there? Because the doorbell at the shop went and it startled me. So I might have to go back and maybe do thick lines on there. We'll see how that goes. But I am trying at least to start off being as even as possible. Well, and that whole meeting at the middle thing, not such a thing. But I'm going to continue to add some lines, adding more wax in here as I need, and drawing some of the design on here. All these sections that I'm adding right now, this I want to look white. So anywhere that I want it to remain white when we're all done needs to get coated in wax, this layer. Okay, so this is it, probably way more detailed than I needed. It's not going to be perfect. Obviously, there's bigger blobs. These aren't all lined up perfectly. That's the point of drawing out your design or measuring your design ahead. But because I didn't want to go through all the trouble of doing that and then not being able to work the stylus properly, I decided I'm just going to fake it so that I can just play with it, start to develop the skill. I got better with the stylus as I went. So I am just trying food coloring rather than like a RIT dye, but RIT dyes and things would be more common, more typical. So we're just seeing about leaving this in here. If this doesn't work, then my backup is some alcohol inks that I have. This doesn't seem to be wanting to go, but let's give it a chance. Okay, so two quick things. One, food coloring didn't work, but I was having great results using alcohol inks until I dropped my egg and it broke. So, you know what? That's what happens. It's just life. And I didn't want you to think this all went perfectly. So I have a second egg and I'm going to start with it and do the same thing and get caught up to the yellow. But just in case you were looking at it and thinking it's a different design, because it will be. And that's life, right? You break your eggs, you make scrambled ones. Once you have, right now you can see wherever the wax is, that's going to be white. So now that we've dyed our egg yellow, we need to put wax everywhere that we want to remain yellow, so that when we do subsequent dyes, those areas are protected. So I'm going to cover areas with yellow that I want to stay yellow. Then we will dip this, and I'm going to do green so that I have some green areas. Then we will dip it again into red, cover over what I want to stay red, and then the final color would be black. So we're doing exactly the same process. We're going to heat up our wax, and now we're going to be covering any of those desired yellow areas. So this part's a little bit easier because we've already got guidelines down. We're going to be filling the wax in between where we've already laid down wax. So this is the idea of what's helpful is having had that sketch ahead of time and having kind of a plan so that you're able to refer to it, so you don't get lost looking at this going, oh my gosh, I don't know what I was thinking. And you can then know what you're covering where. So those top areas, that little bit of yellow up here. Oops. Okay, that's really blobbing out. Doesn't matter if the wax looks black. It's just some of my soot leaking off. But I'm going to get this all covered where I want that yellow to be. And then I will dye it green instead of the yellow that it is. Cover up the green areas with my wax. That was a big oops because I did a big blob, but it looks like it was okay. All my blob went where I needed it to. This is where the practice kicks in, as with anything. All right, this is my egg. I don't have to seal it with wax after that final coat. What I need to do now is melt away all the wax underneath it. So I'm going to use a heat gun and heat it up and just wipe away to reveal. Now I will say this. It looks ugly now. I'm hoping it looks better underneath, but it's not going to look perfect because my waxing skills with that tool pretty much sucks. I was not steady. I was not good, but I had fun. So there's a balance in there somewhere. So I'm going to start heating it up slowly, wiping away the wax. And I didn't get very far before I smashed this egg too. Go figure. Can you see some of the colors starting to pop? That's the idea, that you're going to be removing all those layers of wax and revealing all of the dyed areas, the yellow, the green, the red, and the black is the final dye area toward the end. So, no crying over spilled milk or cracked eggs. I went through 2 of them, but hopefully you get the idea. I mean, they really are lovely. I can't look at the detail. I can't believe that they get the little squiggles and the lines and the everything in there, let alone this one. Look at that. Okay, I am clearly not good at this. I clearly need way more practice than this. Hopefully you get the idea behind it. You could certainly start with a wood egg, paint it white, and then go to town with it. That's going to save you the grief of 2 broken eggs. And, you know, if I was a little more devious or deceptive, that's what I would have done with you and not told you that that's what it was. But I didn't. And I started with the real eggs, like the real Pysanky. And you know, bless their hearts, the women that do these. Will I try this again? Yes, because I'm stubborn enough to want to try again. Will I ever stick with it enough to be able to do something as intricate and as involved as these eggs? I don't think that level of skill and patience is in my future. But you do you. I was just introducing a little bit of my heritage, and I think that I am slated to continue to just buy mine from the real artists. But, you know, you can have fun with it. Maybe start with the wood eggs. Looking forward to hearing from you on this one. I know I showed you a fail, but the steps and the process are true. And maybe you are way more skilled at this than I was. I'm willing to bet that that's likely. Looking forward to hearing from you and seeing you on the next one. Until then, take care.